Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Manager Mondays. My name is Olga Escamilla, and I'm going to be your host. And we have our topic for the day is student success in IETs. And our presenters are Sandra Cortez with Laredo College and Kelly Rhodes and Carrie Rhodes of Restore Education. Today, we have Sandra Cortez. She's employed with Laredo College, and she's been there for 11 years in the continuing education department, and 6 of those years she has been as Director of Adult Education Literacy and Continuing Education. She holds a bachelor's degree in Business Administration and is a Certified Manager of Program Improvement. She has served in a leadership position for the past 25 years, and Sandra adapts easily to change, and she loves what she does. And you got to love adult ed to be in it, or else you're not going to last. So, Sandra, thank you for joining us today. Our next presenter is Kelly Rhodes, and Kelly has served as the Executive Director since 2012 and the AEL Program Director since 2014, and that's of Restore Education. So she co-founded Restore Education in 2008 and helped develop the college readiness and support programming. Prior to her work at Restore Education, she spent 6 years as a teacher and administrator at a school in San Antonio's inner city. She holds a master's degree in business administration and is a certified manager of program improvement. So welcome, Kelly. We also have with us today Carrie Rhodes, and Carrie has served as a curriculum and instruction manager for 10 years and recently transitioned to the position of Director of Student Success. She is also the co-founder of Restore Education and created the language arts curriculum for college readiness and provides professional development for several local agencies on the TSI. Prior to her work at Restore Education, she spent 8 years as a teacher and administrator at an elementary school for at-risk students. She holds a master's degree in Masters of Arts in Adult Learning and Teaching. So welcome, Sandra, Kelly, and Carrie. So if there are any questions at this time, we will go ahead and begin. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to Sandra and have Sandra begin her presentation. Welcome, Sandra.
Director for both Adult Education and Literacy and Continuing Education. My presentation today is going to be in various aspects of our program, but more specifically in reference to integrated education and training. The Laredo College AEL service area is comprised of 3 counties served by us, and our partners, Workforce Solutions for South Texas, as well. We share the same counties. They are Webb County, that is where Laredo College is located, Zapata County, which is located 45 miles south of Laredo, and Jim Hogg County, located 55 miles east of Laredo. AEL service area is comprised of the 3 counties, and our population, as you see on the slide, Webb County is 250,000, and we are 95% Hispanic. Zapata County is a small county, so is Jim Hogg, about 5,000, and they're primarily Hispanic as well. Laredo is located in Webb County along the Rio Grande, separating the U.S. and Mexico. I decided to include our organizational chart because everything you will learn about today would not be possible without the amazing team that makes our program successful. Each staff member contributes their knowledge and expertise to the AEL puzzle to make sure that our students are receiving the instruction to transition to higher ed or into the workforce. This is only my adult ed chart. I have a separate one for continuing ed. LC, or Laredo College, has been serving the Tri-County area for over 40 years. There have been various funding sources throughout this time. The longest funder was Texas Education, TEA, and currently we're funded by TWC. We offer classes at 2 campuses and at 20 external sites through 14 partners. Who are our partners? Well, our external site classes are offered in strategic areas of the city to serve those individuals not able to travel to our campuses. Our partnerships are of utmost value, and at least one person from the corresponding partner sits on our Adult Education Advisory Committee. External sites provide us with classrooms, computer labs, and Wi-Fi whenever it is available. We are at several locations within the school districts in Laredo, in Jim Hogg, and Zapata counties. at community centers within the housing authorities, city libraries, county community centers, corrections, and we also host classes at employer locations, such as HEB and Laredo Medical Center. Laredo College serves approximately 1,800 students per year. This year, we served 1,718 students, 1,121 being ESL students, 677 ABE students, and 20 ASE students. Classes are offered in the morning, afternoon, and evening. During the day and afternoon, we primarily serve individuals with children. We follow the school district schedules to ensure attendance. The evening students are those that are employed. Primarily, we offer classes through management enrollment and offer some flexible courses at both campuses and at our external partner sites. We offer basic skills instruction in various ESL levels, high school equivalency preparation, digital literacy, and English for professionals. Additionally, being that we are an institution of higher education, we offer TSIA preparation for students currently in Workforce Program Certificate Level 1, aspiring to receive a Certificate Level 2 or higher. Because retention is a high priority for the programs, we have one full-time and one part-time career navigator. They work with students dealing with personal issues, attendance, students with special needs, transition to post-secondary, and job searching. During this session, we will focus on integrated education and training, its components, and programs offered at Laredo College and its successes. Laredo College has been working with IET programs for the past 6 years, so we do have some experience. We did have a learning curve, like I'm sure everybody else has. In the past, we have been awarded with Texas Higher Educating Coordinating Board grants, Department of Labor grants, Field Development Funds grants, and now Texas Workforce Commission grants. We are an Accelerate Texas college as well. And as you can see on this slide, our completion rates have been very consistent. The first one that we received was Project VAST. That was our learning grant, if you want to refer to it as that. Our IET programs consist of various components that students enroll in. Each of these components are vital to their success. During informational sessions, interested students are provided with all the information and requirements of the IET program. The programs will vary in length depending on the workforce skills. All programs require a jumpstart, workforce preparation, and AEL contextualization classes. Transition and TSIA classes are included in the Career Pathway program, which will transition students to post-secondary education. I'll start with the first component, which is the Jumpstart component. In this course, students learn about workforce prep and student success skills. During this time, they begin working with the career navigators, creating a culture of community and focus on their goals for achieving success. The workforce skills component is structured to meet the end requirement of the certifying entity when there is one. Also to meet coordinating board requirements or to meet articulation requirements to award students semester credit hours. The workforce training is selected from the demand or targeted occupations as identified in the Workforce Development Board plan. Students taking these courses may take either a state exam, receive Continuing Ed Occupational Skills Awards, or receive both an Occupational Skills Award and articulation of semester credit hours. The Workforce Preparation course is offered to those IET students who will be transitioning into post-secondary education. Some of our students are specifically that are not going to enter post-secondary education. Some of our students are specifically looking to enter the workforce or enhance their skills to increase their workforce skills. We do interview skills, mock interviews, tell them about soft skills, resume writing, job search, and employer presentation. Transition classes are offered to AEL students, but specifically to those IET students being awarded Occupational Skills Award and semester credit hours. We offer them everything that a academic student would receive upon entering through the traditional area. TSIA preparation is an 80-hour program, and students receive instruction to prepare them to become college ready. Basic skills instruction is aligned to the college and career readiness standards. So instead of students registering in debit classes to remediate this, This is where we assist them in the TSIA classes. The basic skills contextualization. In this area, the instructional coordinators, continuing ed, workforce and career services coordinator, and career navigators meet with the basic skills and workforce skills instructors prior to the classes beginning. We have built a team of AEL instructors that teach the IET programs. They integrate the workforce skills into their classes by using the same books and materials used in the workforce class. These instructors meet weekly for 1 hour to ensure that what they are teaching is aligned, and all basic skills classes are taught concurrently with the workforce skills classes. The students have access to both instructors. Their information is listed on the syllabi, and they work directly with them whenever they need assistance or tutoring as well. For our EL Civics IET programs, aside from the workforce skill and contextualized ESL, our students also receive citizenship classes and are presented with immigration information by immigration attorneys and local community agencies that assist individuals that are seeking citizenship. Occupational Skills Award articulation. Laredo College awards semester credit hours through articulation to those students that have met all the requirements set forth by the Workforce and Health Sciences divisions. Currently, those are the areas that we have the articulations with. We had to meet with the department chairs, directors, deans, and vice presidents to be able to initiate this process. An internal MOU was created and approved by those mentioned and by the college president. Creating this MOU took us a while, took us at least maybe 6 to 8 months to be able to create all of this documentation and to ensure that the Health Sciences Division and the Workforce Division were comfortable or knew that we were going to follow everything that was needed as if the student was taking a workforce or health science class. These classes are taught through continuing ed, or the students can also be co-enrolled in an academic workforce class or health sciences class so that they could receive this instruction. Once the student has completed the class and met the requirements, a petition is submitted and approved for articulation. Once the articulation is approved, the semester credit hours are transcribed. Transcription fees are waived for the IET students. Our students do not pay a fee whenever we are articulating hours. The enrollment and registration services assist us a lot in this because they are the ones that actually do approve that the courses that were taught on the CE side are transcribed into semester credit hours. What do we do for student recruitment? We have a marketing department that assists us with our recruitment efforts. They are really, really great. They create press releases, printed materials, post flyers on social media, and schedule television and radio interviews. The coordinators and the navigators facilitate an informational session where all information and expectations are shared with those interested. Printed flyers are disseminated within the AEL program, and during events we are invited to. We also work very closely with our Workforce Solutions area, and we recruit from in their location as well. How do we select the students? Well, the students going into an IET have to go through an application and interview process. Career navigators do career exploration to ensure that the student is a good fit for the workforce skill being offered. And during orientations, the students are tested and they fill out the individual training, education, and career plan, better known as the ITEC, to identify short-term and long-term goals. They are also apprised of all the required components to ensure they understand the commitment needed to ensure a successful completion. What do we do for retention? Retention is extremely, extremely important. Our career navigators play a very important role in the success of the student. They assist with attendance and communicate with the students pretty much on a daily basis. This adds to the culture of community, knowing they have a support system in place with the career navigators and instructional coordinators. The support system includes various departments throughout the college campus, special services, advising, and accessibility to tutors and other learning support services. Structure is important to the success of the student. They receive documents which includes the program schedule, expectations, and contact information. communication is vital, whether it be face-to-face, through text, or email. The student needs to know that there's always somebody there to assist them. Many of our students that we assist have been out of school for quite a while, so they need to become familiar and adapt to their new structure that they'll be participating in. Current IET programs that we have pretty much done is our Pharmacy Tech Certification Program, Accounting Clerk Assistant. The Accounting Clerk Assistant we've used in the EL Civics, Medical Office Support. Export Specialist is also an EL Civics program that we do, and the TAMU Small Business Management Certificate. Most of these are demand occupations in healthcare, exporting, logistics, and administration. Those students attending the TAMU Small Business Certificate actually attend classes at the university campus, and they very, very much love this. Here you'll see what our Medical Office Support IET program is made up of. It's a 20-week program. In this specific group, we have some students with high school diplomas or HSCs, and some had to test for their HSC as well. This is an ATX group, but the basic skills are leveraged through our Adult Ed grant. These students also receive laptops to use throughout the class. The specific photograph you see here is our computer applications group, and they're pictured with the instructor.
Sandra.
Yes.
Hi, before we go on, we had a couple of questions.
Oh, sure.
So the first question is, would we be able to get a copy of your application, and are you willing to share related forms that you use in your program?
Of course. Yes, ma'am. We sure will. We would love to share that.
So if you'll send them to me, then
Okay.
I will get them posted on the communities of practice.
Okay.
And so if individuals are members of the community of practice for stakeholder integration, then you should receive an email when those get posted.
Okay. Of course I will. I'll be glad.
Thank you so much. And then the next question is, the career navigators that you have, this is related to career navigators, are they full-time?
I have a full-time career navigator and a part-time career navigator.
Okay, so you have two.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, or 1.5.
Yes, 1.5 exactly.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this program was an Accounting Clerk Assistant IET EL Civics program. Some of these students were also foreign professionals. As I mentioned earlier, we do have an English for Professionals program where we serve those individuals that are have credentials already in Mexico or other countries. We've served doctors, dentists, nurses, teachers, attorneys, and they attend our program. So it depends on what their background is. We select them based on the IET that we'll be offering. The Pharmacy Technician IET, that one is the 12-week evening program. And as I stated earlier, all the programs have the jump start. They go through contextualization. What happens after they're done with this program, they sit for the Pharmacy Technician certification. This group right here is photographed with their Pharmacy Tech instructor. So one of the questions would be, in your area, how would you select a workforce skills program so that you could have a successful integrated education and training outcome? Another program that we've had for our EL Civics is the Export Specialist. In this group, some of the students were also foreign professionals, and here they received contextualized ESL and civics classes. I don't see their instructor here, but these are a group of students. As you can see, they have their student IDs as well. Our TAMU Small Business Management Certificate, these students are actually enrolled at the university within the Small Business Development Center, and they attend various classes consisting of cash flow, social media, QuickBooks, marketing business plans, small business taxes, many sessions or classes where will ensure that they become a successful either small business owner or they may already have a small business and better it. Here they're photographed with their instructors and with the director from the TAMU Small Business Center.
Okay, Sandra, before we move on, we had a question.
Sure.
And I think it's related to the slide prior. What is an export specialist, and is that something that's related more to your area?
Yes. One of our primary demand occupations in our area, because we are right at the border, we work with many logistics and exporting and importing companies. So what an export specialist does is they ensure that all of the materials that are being sent into Mexico or any other country for that matter, that all the documentation is according to their Mexico law. So that one was really interesting. That was done face-to-face and with modules on a daily basis. It was rather extensive.
So how did you determine that program as being
select that program?
Yes.
Because of it's one of, like I said, it is one of the demand occupations that our workforce board has on their list, and also it is one of the primary employers in our area.
Okay, so back when you asked the question, how do you determine what programs to offer,
yes,
or what certificate programs to offer to focus on, then that is a really good tip. Focus on your demand or targeted occupations, and also on your larger employers that are going to hire more people. Would that be correct to say?
Yeah, that is exactly correct. Yes, ma'am. Because remember, our programs also can transition over into our workforce academic side. So for those that want to transition, they already have that introduction to see if that's what they really want to be studying. So that's how we select as well.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so some of our successes, our medical office support, we started with 17 students and we're currently at 16, so we've lost one. Our accounting clerk, and these are from the photos that you saw also, 9 out of 9 completed. Pharmacy technician, 20 out of 20 completed. Export specialist, 16 out of 16 completed. Having them complete at 100%, it's not easy, but the career navigators and the career services on the continuing ed work very closely with these students, because we know, life happens, people have issues, students perhaps decide that this is not what they want to be doing. So there's a lot of conversations that go on a daily basis if needed. Our small business management certificates, we have 30 out of 30 students completed. And the high school equivalency students, 19 out of 19 completed, because we have a mixture there when we do the small business management certificates. And after every program, we have a celebration. Students invite their friends and family to come join in whatever celebration that we have. We have completion ceremonies for every single IET that we have, and our executive administrators join us. I was able to find some pictures where they were photographed, but everybody at the college that takes part in these initiatives assists us with the celebration. Coming soon, IET, new ones that are coming is the Microsoft certifications. We currently started with an Excel certification. We're going to have the EKG technician and legal secretaries. And I think that pretty much concludes my presentation. If there's any questions that I may have pending, Olga.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sandra. Let's see, I think we had a couple of comments. We had kudos, Sandra, and that was on your successful retention and completion of your students, and then also great success. And let's see, if anyone has any questions right now, if you will please type them in the chat pod, and we'll give it a little bit just to see if anyone has questions, because I know it takes a little bit to type, so we'll give it wait time and we'll be patient. And otherwise, if there's not any questions, oh, there's one. So this is from Kelly Meeks to everyone, and she said, you asked about how we did determine our classes. We work closely with our continuing education department and our targeted occupation list. I also review all the industries in each of our areas and discuss skills needed. We also work with the continuing education instructors to align and support classes with their curriculum. So very good. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly.
That's great. That's great. In my case, I'm fortunate enough that I have both programs. So it's a little bit easier, in transitioning students to CE, working with the workforce academic side, because I also belong to the executive team. So, they hear a lot about our program. They hear a lot about what we're doing. They hear a lot about our successes as well.
Okay. Anybody else? If there are no other questions, We have another question. Blanca asked, would you please repeat where I could get a copy of the PowerPoint? Okay, Blanca, that will be available, but not right away because we have to send it through for accessibility. But that will be available in the community of practice, and I believe it's the administrator or stakeholder integration. But if you're a member of one of those, then you should get an email stating when that's available. Thank you for asking. Anyone else? Because what I'm going to do at this point is thank you so much, Sandra. We're going to go ahead and transition to our next segment, and we have Kelly and Carrie Rhodes, and they will be presenting on their strategies. Go ahead. You're on.
Director here at Restore Education. Hi, I'm Carrie Rhodes, and I'm the Director of Student Success also here at Restore. We're so glad to be talking with you about IETs for this session. So Restore Education is a San Antonio-based nonprofit. We started it in 2008. We've provided high school equivalency and college prep services in San Antonio for 10 years. For our first 5 years, we partnered through a grant with the TEA as part of the Texas Dropout Recovery Pilot Program, where we helped youth ages 16 to 25 get a GED and enroll in college. In 2014, we joined with the Alamo Consortium, led by Region 20, as an AEL service provider. There are 8 total providers who make up the Alamo Consortium and serve the 13-county Alamo area. Combined, we all serve approximately 7,000 students per year. We're one of the smaller providers, and we serve approximately 450 students per year. And our services are limited to Bexar County, and our programs are focused mainly on high school equivalency, transitions, and IET services. Our mission as a nonprofit is college and career readiness, so we focus intensely on college connection for all students. Another unique aspect of our AEL program is that we offer individualized instruction, and all of our high school equivalency prep is considered transitions. In addition to high school equivalency prep, we also offer a TSI prep class about 4 times per year, and then provide ongoing support to our students while they complete their first semester or 2 of college. This is actually our first IET as a member of the consortium back in 2014. We have a team of 6 full-time and 7 part-time AEL staff, including instructors, navigators, and some admin. And plus, we have several community volunteers who come in and provide additional tutoring to our students. About 80% of our students are ABE and ASE, sorry about that, and 20% are ESL, so those are students in our EL Civics or our Spanish HSE program. So here's a bit of our experience with IETs over the years. In our work with the TEA, we enrolled and supported over 450 students in college with a 98% success rate. Since we joined the Alamo Consortium, we've enrolled another 171 students in a local community college. And we partnered with Pleasanton ISD and Region 20 in a taxi grant in 2016 and served almost 100 students as they completed their high school diploma or their GED and prepared for college or career training. Most recently, this past fall, we've partnered with Region 20 in an ATX grant and have been able to expand our IET programs to serve an additional 58 students so far. So just to give you some idea of what our programs are, we were able to serve about 140 students through our 5 IET programs. So we support about 20 to 30 students per year as they transition to college to pursue an Associate of Applied Science degree. We partner with Goodwill's Good Careers Academy, and they offer us on-site training for an administrative assistant course and a CNA class. In early 2017, we created our own flexible entrepreneurship program specifically for our EL Civics students. And just this spring, we were able to add 2 hospitality certification programs since that's a big industry in our area. And this year, we'll be able to add phlebotomy and medical assisting to our IET offerings. So just to give you a quick overview of some of our success rates, got a couple charts here. This first one is for our trainings in partnership with Good Careers Academy. For our CNA program, this past year, we were able to serve just over 20 students through our current ATX grant with Region 20. So we have an 80% completion rate so far. And for our administrative assistant class, we've served almost 50 students with an 86% completion rate. So for our AEO instructor training programs, like entrepreneurship, we've served just over 60 students This one has a slightly lower rate at 58%, but it is our most flexible IET program since it's individualized. It serves a riskier population of students, so we do tend to lose them at a higher rate, but we'll get to that later in the presentation. And for our community college support program and for the new hospitality program, we have a 100% completion rate.
Okay, so these are the 5 themes that we've identified in our culture in IET programming that we believe enhance our student success. Caring for our students, keeping them focused on their success, being flexible, helping the students to stay motivated, and communicating with them throughout the entire process. So one of the most important values of our program, and one that we stress with our staff, is maintaining excellent customer service for all of our students. A student encounters our culture of caring from the very first day that he or she walks through the door. So we work to show that we care about his or her success. So there's 2 ways that we do this. We focus on the staff that we recruit and the personal touch that we give to our students. So when we were planning this session, I had jokingly put down on my brainstorm, get a Rosa as the strategy. So she's our EL Civics navigator and the main driver of the success for the IET programs. Tongue-in-cheek as it is, the right personnel is a valuable resource, especially for staff working with IETs. The staff need to believe in the student's potential for success. This will help them to encourage the student's self-efficacy throughout the program. They also need to be effective communicators, especially about the benefits of education and training. So in one sense, they're salespeople or evangelists communicating the good news about the potential for career fields. And in another sense, they need to be interpreters, communicating all of the additional requirements for these IET programs so that students understand from the outset what's going to be expected of them. They also need to be cheerleaders and coaches as the students are completing the program. They celebrate every win and advise about the next steps ahead. Another thing that the staff need to be willing to do is cross-train. Since the environment is so fluid, staff need to be aware of the other steps within the IET process at Restore. And so the intake staff know what goes on in the classroom with the students, with the instructors and navigators. And conversely, the navigators and instructors are aware of the enrollment and orientation procedure, and they step in when appropriate to interact with future students. All of these things go together to build a relationship with the students so that it increases their rapport, and that will help them to persist within the program because the students know that the staff cares about them and that the staff expects them to be there. Sorry, there you go. Okay. A second part of the culture of caring are the personal touches that we try to add to our communication with students. So we do have a self-paced and personalized process for intakes and orientations. The students interact with staff who check their goals, their life situations, and their reliability through this 3-day process. 2 of the activities in orientation are a personality test and the Own It Interest Profiler. These results are designed to lead to interesting conversations with students as they reflect on their strengths, interests, and life experiences. They also start to feel valued because the staff takes the time to review these activities with them. Next, when a student first enters our Learning Center as a student, they work closely with the navigator or instructor to complete their ITech plan, and that outlines their educational journey. They talk with the staff about which training they're interested in pursuing and what will align with their long-term goals. And then throughout this educational process, the staff communicates with the students to encourage their effort. Things like attendance, completions of milestones in the curriculum or distance learning, or when a student takes the time to study extra when they encounter a difficult subject. That way, when the student enters the training class, he or she is used to working with the staff to complete their goals. There we go. So we just want to know right now, how do you create a culture of caring in your organization? Please type your responses in the chat box and make sure that you send it to everyone. Okay. All right. As you folks are responding to that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next area. One of the main emphases we have as a program is to focus on student success. Whether large or small, all successes will encourage these students to keep trying. From the very beginning of the enrollment process, we want their success to drive them to attend class, to achieve their goals, and celebrate their wins.
One of the first messages that we tell the incoming students is that they have the potential to complete the program. We want them to make plans that focus on their career after the high school equivalency or training certificate so that they see the bigger picture. By the end of orientation, they will have a plan that covers long-term goals and should lead to advancement in a career ladder. We do include an activity called Visualize Your Success. It's a reflection journal activity where they describe what it will be like to reach their goals, how they will feel, and how that success will impact their family. So this activity is supposed to help them start to feel like their plan is possible and worth the effort to complete. Another activity that we have the students complete in orientation is Solutions for Success. We ask the students to think about potential barriers, circumstances, or possible emergencies that could occur while they are working towards their educational goals. Then, we ask them to think of specific choices or plans they could make in order to keep education a priority. Finally, the navigators walk through each potential situation, and together they compile a list of resources that could help in each circumstance. So as the students begin their IET class, they need encouragement to focus on their goals. Helping the students to create a schedule that will allow them enough time to complete the training and the support class is a very important first step. We actually had our students start the support class early, before the training begins, so that they have time to adapt to the schedule and build up their skills in advance of the training. This also allows them to gain hours quickly and to see their progress in basic skills. We have found that this encourages their attendance to continue. Another tool that we use for our IET students is a distance learning support class that is contextualized for their training programs. This allows students some flexibility and the ability to complete their support work if they miss class. The contextualized material encourages students in their training class, and it offers a way for students to accelerate their progress. Both of these tools help ease students into the rigorous requirements of an IET, and it enhances the likelihood of their success.
Terry, before we move on, we had a couple of questions related to, I believe, a previous slide.
Okay.
So the first question was, did you say your orientation time was self-paced? And if so, how does that work?
It's self-paced like our classroom is self-paced. So we allow the students to complete the orientation in a way that works for them. And we found that it works. I wanted the process to mirror what it was going to be like in the classroom.
So they sit down with a packet and they're guided through a PowerPoint, and they work on these activities individually, and then our staff, walks through the room and works through the activities with them. And we'd be more than willing to share the materials too. I see that.
Great.
Question.
I think that was another question.
Sure.
And there was a comment that said you had asked, what are some ways, and someone said treat everyone with respect and give them the time that they need. And someone else said being aware of social and emotional literacy, high EQ, build rapport, and the one-on-one, face-to-face attention is important, and that's something that your program does provide. So
yes,
for that. So if you'll send me the information on your orientation or what have you, you can also post that in the Career Pathways community of practice, because this is so related to the career pathways and all that. So thank you. We'll continue.
So continuing on talking about success, we'd like to use recurring goal setting, which will help the students to expect to succeed in the program. As they meet their goals, their self-efficacy will increase along with their abilities. So this cycle of success will feed itself. Even when a student may encounter a setback, they can bounce back more quickly since they've learned how to adjust their efforts to the task in front of them. One way that we have seen this work is to test students on the high school equivalency subject that they are closest to. While it's important to work on the DOS from the beginning, sometimes taking the easiest HSE for a student encourages them to continue in the process, plus it will give them skills that will help them tackle the more difficult areas. Specific short-term goal setting is also very important for student achievement. Teachers set weekly instructional goals with the students so that they stay on track towards completing their testing. By breaking down the large goal of taking an HSE into smaller and weekly goals as the students master each section, they will increase their motivation and their commitment to their testing. And that's going to result in their ultimate success. It's also very important with IET students since they have to break down their expectations into shorter term steps in order to manage that vast workload. So for example, we worked with a young man who sat down with a navigator and said, I want to complete this goal of an HSE by a certain date. So together they made a schedule, and every week he had activities planned out for every day that he attended. And he even planned out the exact dates he'd be taking his practice test, and by sticking to his goals, he was able to complete. Another way to highlight success for the students is to celebrate every milestone, publicly if possible. When the staff and organization intentionally do this, students feel important, and it confirms that their efforts are paying off. As silly as it seems, we have a victory board in the classroom, and we write their names on the board when they pass their tests. We put stars next to their names as they earn their HSE. So by the time they finish their final test, they are reminding us to put up the stars. All other students can see the success, and they are motivated to see their own name on the board. We also publicly recognize student achievements through social media in a Student of the Week post, as well as different newsletter features that we send out through email. Our favorite time of year, of course, is graduation, which is at the end of the program year. We make sure to include our IET graduates and have students who completed both HSE and IET walk the stage twice because we want to recognize their commitment and their achievement. So now I want to hear from you folks, please. Let us know how you celebrate student success in your organization. All right, so while you folks are typing, I'm going to go on to flexibility, which is another main emphasis that we have. Adults, as you know, juggle many responsibilities, and because they don't have the highest education levels or basic skills, they struggle with underemployment. So working with students to create the supports and flexibility in their schedule to allow them to participate in an IET can be life-changing. So we have found that we can increase our students' resilience by creating some flexibility. We've worked with our training partner to offer these classes at different times of the day to give students options as to the best training time for them. For example, our admin is offered as a morning class that meets Monday through Thursday or an evening class that meets 2 nights per week. CNA is offered either as a morning class or afternoon class. And some students are not even able to commit to an official class schedule, so we do have a self-paced entrepreneurship class. The students have assignments and a menu of seminars to choose from in order to complete the instruction portion of the class. So this flexibility allows them to complete the sections at hours that are convenient to them. It does take extra effort to find and work with a training partner to encourage flexibility. So our partner will offer makeup class times and additional meetings or additional homework, which will help increase their completion. Our instructional staff will build on what the students are learning in their training class. And again, we like to use distance learning with contextualized instructions and basic skills that will help the students. We also have our drop-in learning center hours with wide availability, so students can receive tutoring or assistance with their homework, much like a learning lab. Okay? And the flexibility we've built in the program helps the students make backup plans. They can't predict their life circumstances, so what we do is we help to build the support networks through family, churches, community organizations. If an event occurs, we want to communicate our concern for the student and try to meet with them to find ways to persist. We try to be flexible in case a student needs to make a change to their schedule. Since we have multiple class offerings, that can happen. One student's work schedule might change, so they might switch from a daytime admin class to an evening class. It might take longer to finish, but it'll be a completion. Although we are flexible, we do have to draw the lines with some students and stress personal responsibility. We know some situations can't be helped, so a drop may be what is best for the students at the time. And we do our best to maintain contact and support them, and hopefully they'll return to finish their education. So the next question we want to hear from you folks about will be about how you encourage resilience and flexibility in your organization. And so while you guys are marinating on that, we'll talk about motivation. Students' motivation is incredibly important for IET. So what we use to do with motivation is we want to help them gain buy-in and encourage them to place great value on these courses. So orientation includes several activities that focus on college and career. So our navigators participate in this orientation, moving from student to student. And this initial relationship is the foundation for the students' participation in training classes. They show the students how intermediate credentials lead to entry-level jobs, which lead then to higher-level certificates or degrees and into positions with potential for growth. It's real important for staff to help model this process for the students because many people don't know how to connect credentials to their goals. And then one of the ways we motivate students is by changing their mentality so that they see these seats in the IET classes as a scholarship, and they start to perceive it as something of value. When we say, oh, it's a free class, that implies no cost, and as we know, that's not true. So we also want them to see that this is something that has to be earned. They must complete certain steps, intake, orientation, assessment, and 12 hours in support in order to qualify for entry into the IET. The mentality, along with success, that the students begin to feel in the classroom also contributes to the sense of worthiness. They're good enough to participate, and this is especially true for students who may have anxiety or bad experiences in previous school environments. We also have the students complete a training contract. That's very important so that they can see the outlines of what's expected of them. Also, we offer the training classes close by, on site. As a smaller program, we've had limited space in the past, so we've had to be creative. So having an IET offered on site is important for communication and also in motivating future students to participate. We also hold weekly open sessions on college and career training topics, and we have the training partner, guest speakers, and program graduates deliver presentations. Okay, I know we're running really short on time. So the other thing we want to think about is how do you folks motivate your students to attend and persist? And then the last thing I want to emphasize, along with what Sandra said earlier, is communicate, communicate, communicate. So this is where caring, success, flexibility, and motivation all come together. So for us, we have two navigators who fulfill the role here at Restore Education. They work with the students to implement those plans. They promote IET within the community, and they offer that personalized goal setting with the students. We also make sure that, again, we keep that personal touch in communications with the students, getting to know the students and building up that rapport. We use remind phone calls and emails to maintain the flow of information with students. We also make sure that we communicate with the training partner to make sure that there's a successful completions for the graduates. Creating a system of open communication means that they're sharing information and they're able to step in and intervene early in case an emergency occurs. And so if you would like to share your method of communicating with your training students, we would love to hear that as well. Any questions?
So we did have a couple questions.
Go for it.
They've been coming through. So in terms of your self-paced courses, how do you staff this, and do you have full-time teachers?
Yes, we do have some full-time teachers. So the navigators help with, like, our entrepreneurship class. We have a full-time staff dedicated to managing the students in that class. Primarily, they're EL Civic students. So they set a schedule with her to finish the course. So for our other IETs like CNA and administrative assistant, they have a set schedule. But the support class we set up as flexible, so it fits their work schedule and their life circumstances.
Okay, and then another question is, do you have a specific attendance policy? I think you might have mentioned that.
We do. So for each of those classes, they have to maintain a certain amount of hours per week in order to stay in the class or qualify for the class.
And then for those classes that, like the admin class and CNA class, they have specific meeting times. And so
if they miss too many classes, they will be dropped. So we do have limits.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any other questions? If you do, please type them in the chat box, and we'll be glad to answer them. But thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Carrie. And what I've done is I've placed the contact information for Sandra Cortez with Laredo College, and then for Kelly and Carrie under Restore Education, and that is on the slide right now. So thank you so much for sharing, and I look forward to receiving your emails. And what I'm going to do is ask that if you have an ITech plan, if you could share that in the community, in the Career Pathways Community of Practice, that would be great. And we have comments coming through, fantastic information, very useful information. And also the training contract, I think that's a great one. How do you use that training contract and hold your students to it? Do you have something to share about that, Carrie?
Sure. Yeah, we have them sign a contract. I'd be more than willing to share that form. It shows them the cost of the program and then all of the requirements and responsibilities. And so we have them sit down with the navigator and fill that out one-on-one. They see the responsibility that they're taking on and hold them accountable to that if they have, too many absences or what have you.
Okay. Are there any other questions? We'll wait because sometimes, I want to have some good wait time because sometimes it takes a while for people to type in their questions. But we had a comment. It says we have to have our students keep the eye on the prize for career pathways and in terms of future employment. It says the career navigator is key in building enthusiasm and helping students be inspired towards their own power of purpose. Very good comment. And Robin says she loves the idea of the scholarship. That is great. Let them know, hey, you're not just getting this free money. There's things involved, Make good use of the funds. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else? Well, I think that we are out of time. It is 1:02 and we went a little bit over, but I want to thank again our presenter, Sandra Cortez. Thank you so much, Kelly Rhodes and Carrie Rhodes, for giving us this great information. Thank you. And again, this will be posted, but it takes some time because it has to go through a process. So thank you, and thank you all for attending.
Sure. So we use a program. It's on study.com. So it's an entrepreneurship model. There are videos on there. And there's a transcript, so it's easily translated into Spanish for the students, and they're able to do that at their own time. And then they complete a business plan and attend some seminars with some guest speakers that fills out their entrepreneurship class.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. Excellent info. So thank you, ladies. I'm going to go ahead and end the session. This is 1:0.
Okay, have a great day, Olga.
And I don't see any
Thank you, Olga.
Thank you. And I think you said the site was study.com?
Yeah, study.com. And if anyone wants to, they're more than welcome to email, and I can share the syllabi that we have for those classes. So.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. Because, there are so many programs that don't know where, some new starters that, they want to get ideas on where to start.
Yeah.
So we can hang out here for a little bit. We still have quite a few individuals on. And if there's any other questions, we'll be glad to take them at this time. Okay. Oh, caller 7. Oh, yeah, they are. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and end because there's a lot of people still on, and we want to go ahead and honor your time. Thank y'all so much, and I will definitely be in touch.
Thank you, Olga. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you,
everybody.
Kelly.
Good job.
Thank you, Carrie.